we're going to go back to another story about IBM, but this time it involves the pending acquisition of HashiCorp, because the UK Competition and Markets Authority, also known as the CMA, announced on December 30th, right at the end of the year, that they're going to be taking a closer look at the IBM HashiCorp acquisition. Now, of course, it's a government organization, so things don't go so quickly. The companies have been invited to make comments about this proposed analysis. They have until January 16th to put their comments in. And then the deadline for the ruling on the clearance is February 25th, all the way at the end of the month. And it has also been announced that the US FTC decided to take a closer look at this back in, I believe, October, November. But of course, we in the US are very soon to have a change in government. And that also means a change in the FTC. And that could mean a change in the way that this acquisition is being looked at over there. But what do you think about the UK CMA saying, wait a minute, IBM, let's think this through before we decide to go give our approval on it?
Yeah, I think that's the story here, Tom. It's not that there's something wrong with the IBM acquisition of HashiCorp. In fact, I've got to admit, I have become much more bullish on the whole concept over time, uh, especially after attending KubeCon, spending some time with IBM Red Hat folks, spending some time with HashiCorp folks, spending some time with end users and IT decision makers who are trying to figure out how to make sense of this acquisition. Frankly, everyone I've spoken to has been pretty optimistic about the outcome of an IBM owned HashiCorp. So let's get that right out of the way. I'm pretty confident, pretty happy with the direction this thing is going. But it seems like the CMA and the FTC may not be. So, as you mentioned, the fact that they have announced that they're going to open an investigation is, I mean, it's not a terrible sign, but it's not a great sign, because what it means is that HashiCorp and IBM are going to have to pump the brakes on the acquisition, which means that they're going to have to pump the brakes on customers' decisions about using the products and investing further in the HashiCorp world. Probably going to slow down the acquisition. It's probably going to cause some at least road speed bumps. And I wouldn't be surprised if the CMA decides that IBM has to do something in order to level the playing field after they own HashiCorp. Now, what something would that be? I don't even want to speculate. It could be almost anything. Generally, it involves divesting of some other asset, or divesting immediately of some of the assets of the acquired company. So theoretically, we could see IBM only acquiring some of HashiCorp's portfolio and spinning out the rest to some competitor. We could also see nothing come of this. That's the other aspect. It could be that the CMA ultimately decides not to block it. And as you said as well, one of the reasons for that is that the US FTC, which has been extremely aggressive in the Biden administration, is likely to be somewhat different under the next administration. We suspect that the FTC commissioner will be replaced post haste, though, as we've said before on the rundown, there's a chance that they may not actually change the FTC commissioner, since Lina Khan and JD Vance have actually seen eye to eye on a lot of things. So, but if they do replace the FTC commissioner, I would not be at all surprised if the new commissioner looks at this and says, "Yeah, I don't care about cloud orchestration and management tools and IBM. I'm looking for different stories here," and doesn't step in. And frankly, if the U.S. isn't going to do anything to block it, I'm not sure if that would make Europe more or less likely to block it. So we'll see what happens. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think anybody should be. I don't think any customers should be worried at all, because the worst case scenario is part of the Hashi portfolio gets spun out or the deal gets blocked or something. It's not a big deal. They'll find another buyer. It's a valuable suite of tools. So is this kind of nothing? I'd say it's not nothing, but it probably isn't something.